welcome to a live video. If this is your first time joining or watching, my name is Brandon Foster and I'm a mindset expert here to encourage you, inspire you, uplift you so that you can have your most amazing, most abundant, most awesome, fantastic, terrific, stupendous life ever. And today I want to talk about frequencies and agreements in terms of relationships. And this is something that a lot of people don't ever think about, but we notice, right? We notice when we have a friend or an acquaintance or a coworker, whoever, and they act different with us than they do with other people. And we go, why does this person act different around somebody else than when they interact with me? Maybe with the other person, they're more loving or more giving, more jubilant. Where with us, they're more standoffish and bothered or annoyed by us. Maybe we actually act differently around different people too. I mean, I know that we all do, right? Wherever you live, you probably have neighbors that you interact with and you're excited to see them and happy to see them. And, maybe you exchange butter. I don't know. People still do that. You exchange butter or you have them over for the holidays when you have your family over. Then you have other neighbors where you just don't ever talk to them. You feel like they're weird or strange or unusual. And you also might notice too that when you up level in your life from one place in your life and you go to another level, you ever notice how sometimes the people you used to hang out with all the time, they kind of drift away or you don't hang out with them much. It's not that you don't love them or that you don't enjoy their company, but it's just not the same as it used to be. And then of course you have, your parents or your family members, and maybe you have this big goal, this big dream, this big aspiration, and they're just not very supportive of it. Or maybe it's that they're not supportive of it, they're just not very encouraging about it, or they don't really motivate you about it, or they think it's weird, or whatever the case may be. All of this relates back to energetic frequency and agreements in your relationships. And this is something that I talk a lot about in Tuning Into Love, my amazing relationship course. And I also touch on my 7-day relationship challenge, which you can get the link down below there. We can actually sign up for that. It's amazing. It's 7 days of how to begin transforming the relationships that you have, whether they're old relationships, whether they're current relationships, or whether they're new relationships. But when it comes to frequencies, what you need to understand is that every single person on planet Earth is tuned into a specific frequency at any point in time. You can think about like a TV station, or you can think about it like a radio station, right? So some people are turned into comedy on TV, like Friends, and other people are turned into trying to think of it like a scary TV show. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, not really scary, but like more dark, right? And then you have some people that are turned into soft rock on the radio, and some people are turned into like heavy metal. And the thing is that all of us change our frequencies all the time. And we think of this as our attitudes or a bad mood or a really happy mood or a good day. But that actually is our vibration, where we are energetically in our life. And we actually change our vibrations when we're around certain people. If it's someone that hurt us in the past or we don't trust them, then our vibration could very well change because we're not seeing them through the eyes of love. If there's a person who is really upset about something and they never let it go, maybe you don't even know what that is, and they're just always in a bad mood, that's the frequency that they are on. So if you want to know how you can actually begin to start transforming your relationships, one way is to really start to begin to notice and be aware of the frequency of the individual that you are tuned to. Because if you think of it like a radio station, or you think about like a television station, when you have two different frequencies, so let's say that your significant other is a bad mood, or maybe it's like everybody has a grandma who's kind of a curmudgeon, or a grandpa who's kind of a curmudgeon. So let's say you have the curmudgeon over here, and you have your attitude, which is jubilant, joyful, having a great day, and you're just feeling all the vibes. Well, what happens is this is turned into heavy metal and this is turned into soft rock. And those two frequencies do not mix well. They don't make very pretty music. And so what happens is whoever has the highest frequency, whoever's the loudest, okay, is going to drown out the other person. So if your grandpa or your significant other or your best friend or whatever is really down in the dumps or is not supportive or doesn't believe in your goals, dreams, aspirations, or is just having a bad mood and a bad day, you have two choices. One choice is you drown them out with your high vibeness and they can't stand you and they leave. The other choice is that you actually tune to their vibration and now you join them in that bad mood, that negative vibration, that negative frequency, which is not what you want to do, boo. You don't want to do that. You want to stay in the high vibe, because when you are staying in what we call high vibe or having a good attitude, you're actually opening yourself up to receive all the joy, love, and abundance that you're meant to experience in your life. So when you have a negative vibration or a vibration that is low, you're not open to receive because you are focused on the opposite of love. So lack, fear, worry, doubt, all those kinds of things. Now, the other part of this is the idea of agreements. And there's an amazing book called The Four Agreements. And one of the agreements is basically when you agree with what somebody else says about you. And I've used this example several times before, but if somebody was to walk up to you and say, hey, I really don't like your ugly blue hair, right? And all of a sudden you don't have blue hair, right? So it doesn't bother you. You just laugh it off. It's no big deal. But if someone walks up to you and says, well, you're really selfish, or you set dreams, but you don't follow through, or you're not very good with finances, and you are in agreement with that statement, meaning you agree to what the other person said, somewhere inside of you, that feels really shitty. That feels really bad. And that's because you're in agreement with that statement. And so in terms of agreements, what you have to realize is it doesn't matter what anybody else says. What matters is how you view and feel about yourself, and that you are completely tuned in to your own radio station on love with yourself. Now, the reason why when family members or your significant other or your mom or your dad or your son or your daughter, anybody really close to you, the reason why those agreements hurt the most compared to maybe a friend or an acquaintance or somebody off the street is because we have different levels of trust. And what we're talking about in trust is we have, what am I trying to say here? We have trust. We have conditional trust and we have unconditional trust. So when you have conditional trust, what that means is your heart is not fully open to trust that person. So you have somewhat of a barrier or a wall or something to protect yourself emotionally. But when we have friends and family members that we're really, really close to, like a son or a daughter or mom or dad or significant other, husband, wife, we have more of an unconditional trust. And when you have unconditional trust, your heart is more wide open. So when you are in agreement with somebody that you have unconditional trust with, it hurts a lot more when those things happen. So my encouragement to you today is whatever your goal, dream, or aspiration is, don't tune to the same radio station that other people who say you can't achieve it. That should just be white noise. When you're high vibration and you're having a good day, don't tune to the other frequency that other people have so you can experience joy, love, and abundance. And if you find yourself on the heavy metal and you're in a low vibration, let somebody else lift you up. And when they come in there all high vibe and excited to see you and everything else, and you can feel the love, the joy, the positivity, go into it. Go with it. And remember that it's okay to have unconditional love toward people, unconditional trust. And it's also okay to have conditional trust with people that you work with and protect yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. I hope you all check out my 7-day relationship challenge. It is absolutely amazing. It's free. And at 7 days, it will completely begin transforming your relationship. So much good content in that 7-day challenge is absolutely amazing. I have a new course, Tuning into Love, coming out later on this month. Super excited for that. It's 8 weeks of serious self development, emotional change with relationships. It will affect every single relationship that you have in your life. Really excited. My name is Brandon. Remember, you are more beautiful than you realize, you're more successful than you know, and you're more loved than you could ever possibly imagine. And you were born to slay.